Hello everybody, Noah the Dota Coach coming at you again with my second gameplay analysis video. So this video is going to be analysis of a Legend 1 mid Windranger. So even though he had a really good KDA this game, we're going to try and figure out what really ended up causing him to lose this game. So I went through your laning phase, and honestly your laning phase was pretty impressive. I didn't really see any huge mistakes in lane. You traded with the sniper pretty well whenever you could, which is something that you always want to do, especially as Windranger, a hero that trades so well. You want to make sure that if you're playing Windranger, you want to be playing aggressively because you can, especially if you're against a sniper. You want to use your win run ability to be able to trade with the enemy mid, no matter who it is, unless it's like a Shadow Fiend or somebody that can just raise you down. But in this matchup, you realize that you can trade with the sniper pretty well, so it's good to see that you end up actually doing that. Right here, when you come with this Invis rune, right here, instead of beginning your first shot with just some right clicks, while you're Invis, I would go ahead and charge up a max damage power shot to get, how much damage is that? A 250 damage magic nuke onto him, and then you can start right clicking. Like, you basically wasted your opportunity to get a free power shot off on this guy, which would take out half his health just about. So I would definitely, while you have this Invis rune, just get that free power shot off him, and then you can get as many right clicks as you can in here, because even though you had an Invis rune, you only hit him like 3 times. If you would have hit him with an extra power shot right here, like before you did this one, that sniper has to play super scared, and you could actually dive him at that point. That almost would have been a kill. But other than that, I don't think I remember seeing too many big mistakes in your laning phase. You're pushing out the wave when you can, getting a lot of CS, getting a lot of harass in. So you're clearly doing pretty good in your lane, getting a couple kills on the sniper, getting a lot of farm. As you can see, this is actually a really good Windranger game. Because you can see, like, the PA and the sniper, they really have no way to kill you as long as you have win run up. So I really like your build so far. You're probably going to want to max your power shot and your win run, especially in this game and especially in this lane. That's going to be really useful. I see a lot of pro players just maxing the power shot and win run in lane. It's actually pretty good. I also really like your items. I like how you didn't go the actual boots first, because Windranger doesn't need boots. She has a win run, so she really can go as long as she wants without boots in lane. So it's good to see that you got your 2 blades of attack first, along with a double null for the stats, which is really good. So I'm going to go ahead and throw you out my theory when it comes to Windranger. I've played a lot of this hero. This hero is so fun, and I think he's really, really good right now. He can be played in just about any position. But the core Windranger has a lot of really good perks, but one big downside. So obviously the perks to this core Windranger is that you're hard to kill, you do a lot of damage, you can insta-kill carries with your ult, or you can force towers with your ult. And while that is such a great thing to have, the downside is that your ult has such a long cooldown without Aghanim Scepter. So the decision that you have on Windranger is that you can basically decide after you get your phase boots, double null, and maelstrom, which you're always going to get in that order pretty much. But after that, you have the decision to either choose to go Blink Dagger or your Aghanim Scepter. And so you really have to think about what your job is going to be in the game. Do you need to be this Blink Initiator hero while your team does the rest of the damage? Or do you just need to be this damage dealing hero? So with your ultimate up on Windranger, you can pretty much insta-kill any carry in the game. It pierces spell immunity, so you can kill pretty much any of these even really strong early game heroes, which is what makes Windranger really good. She's this really good tempo setter. She can rotate the lanes, kill their cores, take their towers, do this sort of thing. But the downside is that the only way that you can do this is with your ultimate, which has a pretty long cooldown if you think about it. It's not that bad in the early game when you just want to kill one core and then do a little bit of tower damage harass. But as you go later into the game, in team fights, you can only focus one person. And so after you focus fire on one particular hero in the team fight, your damage output is severely suffering after that because you don't have your ult. And so the only damage output that you have after that is basically just spamming your power shot, which the cooldown in team fights is not very good for getting multiple kills and doing a lot of sustainable damage throughout the team fight. But I clearly like what you're doing so far. I don't have any major complaints. You're rotating, getting kills, definitely making your impact felt on the game. So this is all very good stuff. The only thing that I would like to see is that maybe you be a little bit more aggressive on the sniper. You're 2 levels up on the sniper, and if you dive this sniper, what is he going to do? Like, he has no counterplay. Maybe their supports rotate in, but you have win run, so you can easily win run away, or you can just dive the tower with your win run. This is the result of not playing aggressive on a sniper. Sniper's just going to play like this, which you have supports that are just going to murder him, which is great. But if you play a little bit more aggressive on the sniper, he's not allowed to just throw out shrapnels and start trading with you. But if you can actually dive him and run away through all the shrapnels and even just dive tower and kill him, just playing more aggressive on the sniper, he doesn't really have a good counterplay other than supports rotating in, which again would create more space on the map, which is all good things. So especially when you have a level advantage like this, when you're like level 9 and he's like level 6, definitely be a little bit more aggressive. And the result of being more aggressive is that you're probably going to get more tower damage in. This is one of the biggest things that I try and focus on. If you're winning a lane, you definitely want to try and get as much tower damage as possible. Especially in the mid lane, if you're dominating your mid lane, you want to get the enemy mid laner's tower as fast as you possibly can so that you can rotate to other lanes and have a bigger impact on the game. And this middle tower represents a lot of good things for the enemy team. It's a lot of good defense. It's a lot of good map control. And so I think, especially while the sniper's top right now, I would try so hard to push this lane in. I would use my ult on this. This I think is probably one of your biggest mistakes coming out of laning phase. This play right here to go to this top team fight here top and get some more kills. So kills in the meta are really not as effective as they used to be. If you've been playing Dota for a long time, kills right now are just not near as good as objectives. When you have the ability to get this free tower right here when their whole team's diving top, your team should be pretty fine in this team fight. Even though your Jug's dead, the sniper's really far behind. There's really no need for you to show up to this team fight. Like, yeah, you might get some kills and stuff out of it, but it's way more beneficial to you and your team to get this middle tier 1 tower. Because if you don't get this tier 1 tower now, that means your team is going to have to try and group up and take it later. And that's like the opposite sort of thing that you want. When you're winning a lane so hard that you still have to get your team to rotate and group up to take this tower, imagine if you just took this tower at the end of laning phase. That means your team can split the map, farm how they want to, and they're not pressured to make this sort of play. And that also gives the enemy team a chance to counterplay you. So when you group up to take this tower mid, that gives the enemy team a chance to counterplay and defend this tower, because they probably will defend their tier 1 tower, and it'll be a lot harder to get after this point. So I think if you just stay mid, push out this lane, you could 100% get this tier 1 tower right here. And I think that would have a huge amount of effect on the actual game. Okay, so I'm going to go into probably the most important thing that I could talk about this game. When you get into a game of Dota like this, when you pick Windranger, for example, I like to look at the enemy team and I like to think, who can kill me? How can they kill me? And what is my job in the game? So you did one of these things right. You understood your job in the game perfectly. So remember how I was saying earlier that Windranger has this choice to go blink initiation build, or sort of this, or you can skip the blink dagger and go for this just damage dealing build. And so you understood that it's not your job to do the Pudge's job or the Shadow Shaman's job, which is to blink, disable, and sort of provide the control that your team needs. You understand that your team has that, so you understand that you need to be the damage dealer. The only other damage dealer that you have on your team is Juggernaut, and that's probably not going to be enough. So as your second core, I would definitely go Aghanim straight after this Maelstrom. So Windranger has this ability to be this blink initiator type hero or this backline damage dealing hero, and that you make that decision whenever you choose to buy a blink dagger or your Aghanims. So the biggest downside to Windranger is that whenever she makes this decision, either decision that you make in this situation, whether you want to be the damage dealer or the blink initiator, there's downsides to both of it. So if you choose to be the blink initiator, that means you're severely lacking on damage, and you have very limited damage output in team fights and very limited capabilities to actually take towers after you win these team fights. Because 80% of your damage output on Windranger is going to come from your focus fire. You're going to be spamming your power shot, of course, but in team fights and for taking objectives, it's really not that efficient because it has a pretty long cooldown and it's a skill shot and it doesn't take towers. So the other thing that you can do is, if you realize that your team has control, like I think you do this very, very good, you realize that your team has control with the Shadow Shaman and the Pudge and the ET, so you realize that you need to be this damage dealer hero, which is why I think it's correct that you went the Aghanims build right after your Maelstrom, which you eventually do this game. But the downside to going Aghanims first is that means that you don't have a blink dagger, which means it's harder for you to get kills on the map. It's easier for you to get killed on the map, and you also have to save up for this 4,200 gold item that gives you decent stats at best. And so this timing in between after you get your Maelstrom and the timing in between before you get your either blink dagger or Aghanims, you're a very weak hero at this point, because you're saving up for these expensive items that don't really give you any good stats Aghanims gives you decent stats, but then again, you have to save up 4,200 gold on a hero that doesn't farm the fastest out of most heroes. You can clear waves with Power Shot, which is your best way to farm, but even saving up for 4,200 gold just by Power Shotting waves is still really hard, and it takes a really long time. So during this time, you're actually very weak, and you have very minimal impact on the game, which I think is the biggest downside to Windranger, is making this decision whether to go Blink Dagger or Aghanims. Either decision that you go, whether you make the right decision or the wrong decision, in this game you made the right decision to go Aghanims, but both sides have a huge downside. Even in this correct game where you go Aghanims, that means you have to save up 4,200 gold and basically be this really weak, squishy hero with no stats and nothing really to offer except when your ult's up every, 90 seconds? 70 seconds? So this timing between after you get your Maelstrom and before you get your Aghanims, you're actually pretty weak comparatively speaking. But I want to go ahead and get into detail about the most important thing that I can probably say this game. Who can kill me on the enemy team, and how can they kill me? And how would I have to change my playstyle or adapt my playstyle to do all of these things? So when I look at this game, I think it's a very good Windranger game. I don't think PA can never kill you because you can always just win run away. Sniper can never kill you because you can always just win run away. Treant can't solo kill you, and Necrophos can't really solo kill you unless you just start trading with her and maybe she grabs you with an ult in a team fight, but that's not likely to happen. However, Axe can actually solo kill you at any point in the game after he gets his Blink Dagger and Blade Mail. This is any point in the game. And so knowing that Axe is the only person on the enemy team that can kill you, you have to ask, how does this Axe play, and how can I change my playstyle to play against this Axe and how he wants to play? So Axe is a hero that the second he gets Blink Dagger, he's going to stay off map the entire game, and he's going to have the ability to blink call and instant kill you at any point during this entire game. So you have to think about, if Axe is a hero that wants to play off map, how do I stop him from playing off map? And the thing that allows Axe to play off map this game and pretty much every game is map control and pushing out lanes. So I think if you took this tier 1 tower right here mid, that's a lot less space that Axe has to be able to TP in and get a blink call on your team. That's more vision for you, more map control, which is good for you, which means Axe has less map to play on. And so this is the concept that I think you should probably get the most out of this game, is that you realize you make the right decision to go Aghanims after your Maelstrom. And so you have to sort of farm up this 4,200 gold item while playing scared of this Axe. And so how you're going to have to do this is that you realize that Axe is a hero that wants to play off map. So you have to stop him from playing off map by pushing out your lanes. Your lanes are being pushed in top, they're being pushed in mid, and bottom's being pushed very hard, even by this PA right here, which I don't think you see, but all your lanes are pushed in. And when all your lanes are pushed into your tier 2 towers, that gives the Axe like 75% of the entire Dota map to be able to play freely and be able to put you in danger, because he can play he can be anywhere on the map. You don't know where he is. He can blink call you out of anywhere, and I can just predict that several times this game Axe is going to blink call you and kill you. And that's the only way that you're ever going to die this game. That is the only way that you will ever die this game, is by an Axe blink call. And so I think what you need to do to farm up this very expensive item, you need to be pushing out these lanes. Like, I think you make the decision because you're a very strong fighting hero, and I think you understand that. So you make this decision to sort of just fight nonstop, even though you're ahead of the other team, which means you probably have the feeling like you want to fight. And you're just a high damage output hero, so you have this feeling that you want to fight, but you have to realize Axe can kill you at any point, and the ability and the thing that allows him to kill you at any point is these lanes are pushed out. So the thing that would save your entire game would just to be push out these lanes with Power Shot away from the creep wave so Axe can't call you, and that would also help you farm up your very expensive item. So by pushing out these waves, imagine if these waves were pushed in to their tier 2s. That would give you 75% of the Dota map, which means Axe has to play on 25% of the map, which is not something that he wants to do, and he really doesn't have any kill potential on you if he only is playing on a quarter of the map. But if you pushed out your side lanes with Power Shot this game all the way up until you get your Aghanim Scepter, that takes the map away from Axe, which is the only person on the enemy team that can kill you, and that also clears up the time in between you have to farm this very expensive item, which solves all of your problems this game. So if you learn anything from this coaching session, I really hope that you understand that and realize that that's probably going to be the main source of all your problems. But as for mechanical skill, you're definitely pretty good. You definitely understand how to play your hero, and get kills, and you definitely understand the right item build and the right skill build as well. So these mechanical things are all very good, but this sort of conceptual understanding of the game, which is what is your job, how do I die, and how do I stop the enemy team from playing how they want to play. This is what really separates these legend tier players from these divine players. Still at this point, the middle tower is still sitting there because you didn't get it at 10 minutes. And this axe is very strong. You're going to have a hard time killing him. And throughout the entire game, axe can pretty much kill you at any point in this entire game. As you can see, boom, just call. Like, this axe can literally solo win this game against your team just because you're not pushing out the lanes. And that allows axe to play the game how he wants to play, and that's going to make this game very, very hard for you to win. Now, I know that this game goes on for like an hour long or more, and you actually almost won this game at one point. I think it was at like 50 minutes you actually almost won. But basically the concept is the same. I can't really go into detail about a 60-minute Dota game because anything can happen at that point. In an hour-long Dota game, there is nothing that you can really predict. So I think if you start understanding these 3 questions about what is my job for this game, are you a blink initiator, are you a damage dealer, which you understood, who can kill me on the enemy team, you have to realize that that's axe, and how can they kill me, and that's by playing off map. And then understanding how you adapt your playstyle against these things is also another thing that you're going to want to learn. And other than that, I really don't think there's much more that I can say. The game goes on back and forth for like an hour. There was one point in this game that you actually almost won. I think you actually could have won this game. Actually, I think it was about like 48 minutes or something like that. You get a lot of items, you get Aegis. This is all really good. You've got your Aghanims, and you've got plenty of damage items, so you're just this massive damage dealer. And you take really good fights here, and I think you almost actually just end the game right here with one of these fights. Yeah, so you kill the PA. PA buys back. Necro's dead. He has no buyback. All their heroes are dead, no buyback, basically. I think PA dies here in a second. Yeah, so PA just dies like no problem. PA has no chance of killing you in this entire game, and right here you can win the game. But the hero that can stop you and just completely change the game is going to be up in 7, 6, 5, 4, 3 seconds. So you have to realize right now, the second that Axe respawns, you have to realize that he can kill you right now, and this game could potentially be saved. And so the last thing that you want to do is group up whenever Axe respawns. As long as you split up, as long as all 5 of you are split up and just sort of hitting this tower whenever Axe respawns, you 100% win this game. I think you're pretty distracted right now, and you're not really paying attention, and you do exactly what the enemy team needs you to do for them to win, and you group up, and you get 3-man call, which is an instant kill for you, an instant kill on the Juggernaut, and this Axe just solo wins them the game. And so I think if you just paid a little bit more attention right here, you actually could have won this game. But I think the biggest thing that you could learn from this game is that Axe can kill you at any point in this game, so you need to push out these lanes so that Axe doesn't have a map to play on, and that will really greatly improve your chances of winning this game. So if there's anything that I could teach you or anything that you could learn from this, I really hope that you learn and understand that, and hopefully you can start applying more of these concepts into future games. And I think if you understood these things, you could definitely be a divine player if you wanted to. So you're definitely very mechanically skilled. You understand what items you need to build, what your skill build needs to be, what your job is in the game. But if you just understand how does the enemy team want to play and how do I adapt my playstyle to play against it, if you understand that, I think you could easily be a divine player. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up there. It was super fun being able to analyze your game. This is my second ever gameplay analysis, so I really appreciate all the feedback that you want to leave. If you have any comments or criticisms, or if you think I left something out, go ahead and let me know because I'm still learning at this sort of thing. But yeah, guys, I really hope you enjoyed this, and I'll catch you in the next one.